Today you're going to be learning everything you need to know about mouth calls for turkey hunting. I'm Mike Holmsack with obviously Outdoorsmen. If you are new here, subscribe to us. I've hunted turkeys from New York all the way to Florida with having some good success. Today we're going to be learning on getting turkeys mouth calls by rackettersense.net. You can go over there and check them out. This is not their full line, but this is what I have on hand today. So we're going to be going over what makes up a mouth call, some calls to use, if you're new to mouth calling, how to put it in your mouth, the positioning, the airflow, everything you need to know from all the way to care and maintenance about mouth calls, everything you need to know. So let's dive into it. What is a mouth call made out of? Now there are 4 components to a mouth call, what these are actually made out of. The first being the tape. That is this white on here. Each call may be a different color, but it's this flexible stuff on top here. This is the tape of the mouth call. The next would be the frame. That is this rigid, hard piece in here, made out of aluminum out of most calls. That is this piece. This is the structure of the mouth call. The next would be the tab. So each mouth call generally will have a tab in here, right there. And normally that means it's down on the mouth call because the longest reed normally goes up. So whatever reed is in here, and that is the last component as well, the reed of the mouth call. Normally these are made out of latex, and there are multiple normally on a mouth call. The longest reed goes up top, that tab on the back goes on the bottom, and that generally shows you quick on which way it goes in your mouth. The simple explanation of how a mouth call works for turkey hunting, or even a mouth call for elk or coyote hunting, you put it in your mouth with the longest reed facing up. So that longest reed is on top. You put it in your mouth with this flat, this straight end facing out. It compresses against the roof of your mouth by pushing it on it with your tongue, and then you're blowing air between your tongue and the call, and as the air rolls over this latex, it will flutter and make noise, essentially like this. So this is the outer portion of the call, so that goes away from you. So if I'm putting it in, it's going in like this, right on the tongue, right to the roof of the mouth. Air goes over the latex, and that's how sound is made. Once you get accustomed to a specific mouth call, every person I feel is better on a different mouth call than the next. Some people don't use any tape on here. Some people just use the frame and the latex. But essentially, each call is built for a different person and how their mouth is made, because these cuts on the mouth call will vary depending on the airflow coming out of your mouth. So whether your mouth is made one way or another, airflow will come over differently out of your mouth. So you're going to have to pick a call that is right for you. But essentially that's how it works. Once you learn how to blow air through your diaphragm and make noise and get your pattern down and your cadence down, that's how you get better with a mouth call. And once you get better with the mouth call, you will be able to make these sounds soon enough. And when I say cuts on a mouth call, I'm basically referring to the cuts in the latex. See how they are cut in different shapes? That will produce a different style of sound for you. One may be more raspy, one may be more clean. Some are built for different mouth styles, how the airflow comes out of your mouth. Some are good for long range, some are built for short range. Each style has their place in the turkey woods. As mouth calls are generally inexpensive, I suggest picking up a couple of these calls and trying them out, wearing them in, and seeing which call you like the best and which is easiest for you to use. Now there are 4 main cut styles on a mouth call in the latex that you should know. The first will be the Batwing. Again, I'm going to be showing you all the products by Getting Turkeys, rackettersense.net, and if you want to check them out, the link will be in the description below. So the first will be a Batwing. The Batwing has a clear front end and rolls into a raspy back end, which is great for soft or long range calling. This is personally my favorite style. It's one of the easiest for me to use. I'm just going to show you how it sounds real quick. Now both of these calls are the American by Getting Turkeys. These are both the Batwing. As you can see, the tape on this is cut a little shorter. This one is a brand new call, Once a call wears in, they may sound a little different, and it's honestly easier to use once it gets worn in. So I'm going to be using my worn in call, and the tape on here is designed a little bigger on each call. It's designed to let the user to cut it to their mouth. So if it's too big and you're choking on it all the time, there's two reasons for that. It's either too far back in your mouth or the tape is just too big. Me personally, I find if I just cut a little bit of that top portion off on the tape, it fits better in my mouth and I'm able to make a better sound out of it. So that's always an option. And the fact that these are generally inexpensive, it's great to just grab a bunch of them and to see which style works the best for you. Some people, again, rip off all the tape and they just have the aluminum and the latex in there. So everyone's different. So let me just show you how the Batwing calls. And again, every turkey mouth call basically is the same, how they are built. Every cut is just different. And honestly, it's just brand preference for you generally. So the Batwing Cut, clear front end, raspy back end. Let me show you how it sounds. So that is the Batwing Cut there. This is, again, one of my favorite calls. I just ran through a gamut of calls for you, from yelps to cuts to purrs, just so you can get all the sounds so you can understand how it sounds. Let's go on to cut number 2. That would be the V cut or the split V. You can see the cut's a little different in there, a lot less cut out on this latex. For getting turkeys, that would be the Revolution if you want to check them out. The top reed, again, goes up, the flat portion away, the curved portion back in your mouth. These are generally a raspier sound, good for mid-range calling. You can't get super loud on them and keep that same sound crispness, but great for mid-range calling, a little bit raspier. Let me show you how it sounds. That is the Split V Revolution by Getting Turkeys. Let's go on to cut number 3. That would be the Ghost Cut for Getting Turkeys. This would be the Recon. You can see on this call, the center portion is cut out. It has a raspier sound, which is great for close calling. So if you want to locate and do your louder sounds with the other calls and then pop this puppy in when you know they're getting close, this is a great call to do that with. Let me show you how this one sounds. That would be the Ghost Cut. Great raspy sound, great for close calling, just another option in there. Now again, many brands have a bunch of different cut styles on there, so it's really just preference. And the last cut style that is really a mainstream cut that you need to know would be the combo cut. It's basically a combination of all these cuts put together. I don't have one on me today, but it's a combination. It's great from long range calling to close calling and pulling them the last yards, but you can make all the same calls that I've been making with all the other cuts. The next component of mouth calls that you need to know should be the reeds. The reeds essentially is just how many layers of latex is stacked onto one another. Generally, there are 3 reed styles: one reed, double reed, triple reed. That's generally what it is. Now, I'm sure there's companies out there with quad, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 reeds. I'm sure there's that many out there. But there's 3 purposes of reeds: the tone of your call, the raspiness of the call, and the realism that comes along with the reeds. The easiest reed style to use would be the single reed. It has a high-pitched sound, which is great for long-range calling, and it's the easiest to use for beginners. So that just means there is 1 layer of latex in there. There's not 2 stacked on each other, there's just 1. So that's the easiest for beginners to make a sound out of. Me personally, I like to go with the other options. Second, there would be the double reed. That means there's 2 layers of latex stacked on one another. The double reed has a raspier sound compared to the single reed, which is great for mid-range calling. And my favorite, which is the most realistic, is the triple reed. It has the most realistic sound, it has a raspier style, and it is great for all around the board from long range to mid-range to close range calling. And each cut style that we went over is available in each of these reeds. So you could have a V cut in a double reed or a triple reed. You could have a ghost cut in a single reed or a triple reed, a double, it doesn't matter. Each cut can combine with each style of reed. The next component would be the stretch, meaning how tight these latex layers are stretched. So are they loosely stretched, which is a low stretch, medium, or high stretch? And basically that's going to affect how the call sounds. And these are, again, all options along with a low stretch ghost cut in a double reed or a high stretch V cut in a single reed. It doesn't matter. Each version has their own combo to it. The first option with the low stretch has a higher pitched call, less volume, but it's the easiest for beginners. Now, when you're buying a mouth call, generally the product won't have a description like this is a low stretch call, but it's something to keep in mind when you are buying calls, once you get it. If it's super tightly stretched, then it's going to sound different than when you're using the same call for 3 years and it starts wearing out a little bit. It may turn into a low stretch call, but it may sound realistic. Each call kind of adapts to their own sound once they get worn in, and that's what I love about the mouth calls. The medium stretch call has moderate air pressure needed to operate the call compared to the low stretch, which is a lot less air volume, so you really don't have to blow on it to get sound out, which is why that low stretch call is the easiest for beginners. The mid-range, it's a mid-range calling, get a little louder with it, but you're gonna need a little bit more air pressure going across those reeds. And lastly, the high stretch call, basically it takes a lot more air pressure to make a sound out of that call. It's one of the hardest to use compared to the beginner. So if you're a beginner, I wouldn't suggest picking up a high stretch call at first. And that high stretch call has a deeper low pitched tone. The last portion to this video is learning how to make each call on a mouth call. So I'm going to be showing you guys on the Batwing call. First, let's go over the yelp. Again, rounded portion in your mouth, flat end away, tab down, longest reed up. You put it in your mouth. And basically all you're doing is, if this is your tongue and this is the call, you're just taking your tongue and pushing against the latex up top here. Now the harder you push, the louder the sound's gonna be. The lower you push, so the less pressure you put against that latex, you're basically just trying to cup it and put that tongue in the latex. The less you push on the call, the rougher this call is going to sound generally. The harder you push, the sharper it's going to sound. So you just want to find a nice mid-range. If this is your first time using a mouth call, just throw it in your mouth and try and get sounds out of it. No matter what the sound's like, whether it sounds like a dying duck or a dying crow, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to get it perfect. This takes years and years and years to get. The best bet to learning a mouth call is really just keeping it in your truck and throwing it in every time you get in the car. Preferably when you're alone. If you have a girlfriend or a husband, if you throw this in, it's really going to make them mad if they don't hunt and they just get annoyed from this sound constantly going off. So if you're just trying to make sound out of it first, just put that tongue up against there and adjust it in your mouth until you get some type of sound, and then refine it from there. Let's go over the first call that you want to learn, and I think the only call you really need to kill a turkey is the yelp. So essentially the yelp is just quick coming up from your diaphragm, just and you're basically opening and closing your mouth every time. That way you're basically acting like a real turkey. So you're starting and then finishing, starting and finishing. If you ever watch the real hen, yap, 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 that's how they make the sound. So let's start it out here. Once you find just a straight pitch, then you can just close your mouth and drop off on that last end of the note. So it's like, if this is your tongue, ee-yop, ee-yop. Find that note and then drop it and then get your cadence down. Once you get that noise, then you could refine it. And it's just coming up from your diaphragm. Just open and close your mouth each time to get more realistic. And just listen to a lot of videos of hens going on YouTube or TikTok or wherever you watch videos. Listen to how they sound and just try and mimic it. Just pull up a video and just, when the hen goes off, just mimic her. So yap, 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 yap. That way you can really tone in the cadence. When I say cadence, that's the rhythm of your sounds. So this is a fast cadence. This, you don't want to do these calls, the fast or slow. You want to refine how the call is. That way you can get perfect in the woods with you. Now, you're never going to be perfect. Each hen has their own basically voice, just like humans do. Everyone has a different tone, pitch, anything. So you don't have to be perfect. Just get your cadence, your rhythm down perfect. So yap, yap, yap. It doesn't matter if it's yap, yap or yap, 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 as long as your rhythm is perfect. So I threw in 2 clucks there, sorry, I just had to. So that's basically the yelp. Next, let's go over the cluck. That would be the second call I would learn if I was a beginner on a mouth call. So there's a couple ways to make a cluck, whether it's a bubble cluck or just a sharp cluck. Basically a feeding call turkeys use when they're out there. Basically like, I'm okay, along with the purr. But we're gonna go over the cluck first. And there's 2 ways to do it. Put it in your mouth the same way, and you can either just a sharp airflow, just quick. So if you ever used a slate call for turkey hunting, it's sharp and it's quick. That's why you can just, or just, so if you can't, that's more of the bubble cluck. That's where that like a popping bubble sound comes from. Let me show you how it sounds. That quick. Now, depending what you're trying to mimic here, generally clucks are single succession, so buck, buck, or yap, 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 buck, buck, grr, buck, grr, buck. That's basically the calls in between a lot of the times, just that okay. Now, I will warn you with the cluck, no matter what call you're using it on, I like to reassure the turkeys I'm trying to make a cluck sound, because that cluck a lot of times sounds like a putt. The putt is the warning signal, meaning they sense danger. So if you're just buck, 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 then you might fool the turkeys into thinking there's danger, whether you're trying to pull them in and he thinking it's danger. So what I like to do when I'm running those cluck sequences, I like to throw yelps at the end of them, mix in some yelps. That way I'm basically, even if I get it a little wrong and the turkey's thinking something else, when I throw those yelps in, I'm telling them there's not danger. It's reassuring to him that it's just a cluck, not a putt. So again, that's the 2 styles, whether it's or that's throwing that in there, that yelp sequence in there, what I like to do. The next call you can try and learn is the cackle or the cut. So just sharp clucks, just pop, 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 pop. Just quicker clucks. That's how I like to explain it. Now you can't really do that with the method. You have to do the that's the best way to learn the cut or the cackle. So let me show you how it sounds first. Just quick. Now that could be a fly down cackle, a fly up cackle. It can be used as a locator call. It can just be a quick sequence while the hens are excited. So yap, yap, pop, 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 yap, 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 yap. It's a great call that I always use. I use all those calls in here. I'm using every call that I'm showing you. And again, that's just quick, basically like you're saying the K, but that's how you learn the cut. Lastly would be the purr. Now there are 2 methods to learning the purr. It's one of the hardest calls to learn on a mouth call. There's 2 ways to do it. My personal favorite is the is fluttering your lips. That's my personal favorite. That's how I can do it. Everyone's different. Some is easier for others. The next would be fluttering your tongue. So that's the two ways you can learn. I've learned a little bit of the tongue fluttering, but I'm definitely much more consistent with good calling with the fluttering my lips method. Let me show you how it sounds. I can try the tongue fluttering method for you. I don't know if it's gonna sound good though. I can't really get the tongue fluttering method, but again, there's different ways to make each call, and some is easier than others for different people. That way you can try both methods and see which one works best for you. Now, the reason I think you guys should use the mouth call, it's hands-free. It's super tiny, it's super light, and I think it needs to be in every turkey hunter's pocket. I think it's worth learning 1000%. Just throw it in your mouth, and that way the last 100 yards, you can just be focused on your shot. You don't have to sit there with a box call or a slate call and then have to put it down quick when you see them and then try and shoot them. It's just in your mouth. And you shoot them. So that is basically mouth call 101. And again, where you're picking up these calls don't really matter, and the brand doesn't really matter either. It's just whatever you prefer. I prefer Getting Turkeys by racketersense.net. He's based out of New Jersey. He's one guy making all these calls. He's a retired fireman. I've known him for the past like 15 years. He's a great guy. He's very down to earth, and he's making all these calls by himself. So if you want to check him out, again, that link is in the description. If you are new here to Obviously Outdoorsmen, subscribe to us and check out our next video. I'm trying to teach you guys as much as I know, as many mistakes that I've had, so you guys don't have to make them in the woods. You guys can have more successful hunts consistently. And that's really it, guys. I am Michael, Obviously Outdoorsman. If you guys are interested in any merch, this is the Stay Stealthy t-shirt. You can check these out on Shopify. There's a bunch of different designs coming out, basically a couple designs a day. These are extremely soft. I love them, even though they are my brand. I'm a little biased, but I think they're great. If you guys want to pick them up and you like them, you can check out the Shopify link in the description below as well. And that's really it, guys. Happy hunting, stay stealthy, and good luck with the mouth call this year.